club was born out of a deep passion for local soccer and pride in our community. In the off-season, we have been building, working, and striving for more. This season, we honor the roots that run deep and what makes Ballard our home. Up the stakes, up the stoke, up the bridges.
Welcome to Pagliacci Pitch for tonight's edition of Ballard FC against Capital FC. We've got quite a good game in our hands this evening, number 1 versus number 2, and we've got a lot of key points that we'll be taking away from this game today, and some really big momentum shifters in the league so far this year. So, Jim, what are the big pieces that we'll be looking out for today, knowing that we're in a kind of crunch time in the year?
Well, Ballard got off to an excellent start this year with a seven-game win streak, and then they've struggled the last weekend with a loss and a tie. The tie was actually pretty impressive when you consider the fact that Tsatsani was sent off in the 13th minute, so they played down for 77 minutes and still tied the game. For Capital, they have 2 games in hand, and so this is an opportunity for them to try to climb the table a little bit and catch up, because right now there's a 9-point differential between the 2 teams, but we're still not close to the end, and it's way too early to talk about playoffs. Yeah,
lots of soccer left to play in the season here. We've got a really good game here again. We're looking to see some key players. For me, big takeaways, Peter Kingston, as always, really looking to see who can fill that number 9 spot. Jeremy Apong being that number 9 for us today. So a lot of key important pieces to look at here today, and we're looking forward to having a good match.
Well, and clearly, Ballard, the last couple of games have been without their 2 top number 9s, and Alec Mejia just signed a 2-year deal with a team down in Honduras, which is a great thing, and it's really a testament to what this league and what this team is all about. They really want to get players the opportunity to, take that next step.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and congratulations to Mejia. I'm sure he's out there watching, and we wish him nothing the best. But here today, we're looking for a good Ballard FC game, and we've got a lot more coming to you. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with you shortly.
Welcome to the Georgian Dragons, Seattle's established home for footy since 1995 and proud broadcast sponsor of Ballard Football Club. Home to classic English pub food, 24 draft beers, a large whisky selection and craft cocktails. With a beer garden, heated patio and cosy pub, the George has everything for good times with friends and family. And weekly events such as pub trivia and karaoke. Open 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. daily and even earlier for all your favourite football clubs, national teams and cup tournaments. When you're at the Georgian Dragon, you're family, and here at the George we say welcome home. Go Ballard FC and up the bridges.
selected by head coach Jason Farrell. Goalkeeper and your captain, number 1, Lars Hellen. Defender, number 4, Leo Burney. Defender, number 6, Takeno Oliveira. Forward, number 7, Charlie Gaffney. Forward, number 10, Peter Kingston. Midfielder, number 14, Bailey Letterman. Forward, number 17, Jeremy Opong. Midfielder, number 19, Cameron Morton. Defender, number 21, Damian Alvarez. Defender, number 24, Zane Bogart. And midfielder, number 26, Danny Robles. Let's welcome the boys to the pitch! Before we honor the national anthem of the United States, we would like to first acknowledge that we are gathered upon the ancestral lands of the coastal Salish peoples, specifically the Duwamish, Suquamish, and Stillaguamish. We thank them for their immense contributions to our state and local history, culture, economy, and identity as Washingtonians. Additionally, the United Soccer League, its teams, and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. Please join us for an 11-second moment of silence as we are all united against racism. Thank you. We ask that you please rise and remove your hats. Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Cookie Yubarek.
Oh, say, can you see the dawn's early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Welcome back to Pagliacci Pitch. Cole Weaver here, standing alongside local soccer legend Jim Harvey. We've got ourselves quite a game today, Jim. What's the early takeaways?
Well, I think it'll be very interesting to see whether Ballard can get out to a fast start and stick one in the net. That would definitely change the tenor of the game. But Capital is equally challenged, and they definitely have a lot to play for. So it'll be very interesting to see the first 5-10 minutes, just how the game unfolds.
Yeah, we've seen some interesting games over the past couple weeks. Red cards a part of the picture, multiple goals, late drama. And what are expecting to see to here? It's an interesting matchup. We've got some different teams, and today we'll be going through some pieces here. So go through the lineups, starting with Capital FC in goal, Zach Ando. Playing at left back, Thomas Mueller. Center back, Francisco Anton. Center back, Ryan Keefe. Out on the right side, Caleb Kiner. Into the midfield, Osvaldo Santana. Midfield, Reese Davies. Another midfielder, Diego Castillo. Moving into the front line, playing a 4-3-3 with two wingers and a forward. Left wing, Fuyama Shiriashi. Right wing, Yutaro Tsukada. And up in the middle, former Ballard FC player, Francisco Mangana. Very interesting to see him and see how he'll do this afternoon. Moving over to Ballard's side of the table, similar 4-3-3 lineup, really matching the player-to-player positions here. Goalkeeper and captain for the day, Lars Hellerin. Left back, Zane Baumgart. Center back pairing of Damian Alvarez and Leo Burney. Right back filling in Taketo Onandera Take. Apologies, my friend. Midfielder 3, Bailey Leatherman, Danny Robles, Cameron Martin working a pair off the 3. Leatherman likely to be the holding 6. Up top, Peter Kingston, Charlie Gaffney, Staples in their positions on the outside, and filling in through the middle for both Stas Korzenowski and Ian Mejia, Alex Mejia, who obviously just recently signed a deal with the Honduras Professional League. He's filling in Jeremy Apong. So quite an interesting lineup on both sides of the table. Looking to see how this game's going to kick off for us.
I think one thing that we get, it's 7 o'clock. It's a beautiful summer Sunday evening or sunny evening, but that's a challenge for the goalkeeper, as you know.
As always.
And so in the second half, it'll be very interesting to see what the sun position is for the Capital goalkeeper, because as you can already see, Lars Hellerin has his hand up to try to see down the pitch.
Kicking off early. Both teams obviously getting off to a quick start. Ball picked up early on the left side of the field from Mueller down the line. Angana doing good work to cycle through. Tsukada doing some good work through. Early shot. Off the post. Goal. Capital City FC strikes early. Lars Hellerin couldn't quite do enough to keep it off the post and away. Not quite the start that Ballard FC wanted to see.
Not
Not even 40 seconds into the game.
That's right. Well, and the challenge, of course, was it was an excellent shot. It went off the post, but the Ballard defenders were not tracking the runners, and there was a guy at the 8-yard line wide open and just put it back into the net. So clearly not the start Ballard wants, and it's a perfect start for Capital.
Yes, it is, and we'll be looking to see a response here. Obviously, we've a little bit of deja vu, feeling like we just kicked off. Robles electing to hold possession in this kickoff instance rather than play an early long ball.
Well, and it was also a good build-up by Capital FC. I mean, they cut it through the midfield, and it was a great shot from the top of the box. And obviously, Lars, he was lucky. Probably he got a hand on it and hit it off the post. But still, you got to count as a goalkeeper, as you know. You got to count on your defenders to bail you out when you dive full out. Somebody's got to be there to cover that runner.
Yeah. Tsukada again at the center of the problems for Ballard. Robles doing good work to break up the play. Martin down the line for Apong. Picked up by Kingston. Good switch of play here through Leatherman out to Onandera.
So Onandera, is really a midfielder, but I think what'll be interesting to see is the quality of his services from the right side, because he sees the pitch so well, and the quality of his passes, the weight of his passes are so good. it'll be interesting to see if he can put one across into a dangerous spot.
I agree. Slightly different lineup here. Lucia Tetsane serving his red card suspension. That's why we see a little bit of change in captaincy, as Alvarez is doing good defensive hold-up work here. Baumgarten up forward to Martin. Slight scrap in the middle, and Ballard come away with the throw-in.
Well, you know, whenever a team gives up a goal in the first minute, you think, oh my gosh. But, you know, there's still 89 minutes to go. And so they have plenty of time. And this is a really skilled team with good poise. I don't see this as being a game killer.
Onodera coming down the side. That's Ballard throw in deep in the corner. Excuse me, Capital throw in deep in the corner.
And it must have gone off Onodera's foot.
Deep throw. And Ghana winning the ball. Leatherman doing the same. Alvarez electing to go long. Awkward chase here. Kingston trying to get things started for Ballard. Baumgarten losing possession and giving away a foul as a result. Slow possession build up out of the back here for Capital. Through goalkeeper Zach Ando. Very commanding presence, all orange today. Leo Burnley with a stooping header. Slight miscommunication through the midfield. Well won back by Onodera. Given away quickly by Alvarez. Options in front, electing to go wide. Early shot, wide as well.
But again, it's you see that Capital FC is very, very dangerous, especially on the counterattack. The quality of that pass out to the wing there was really quite good.
Yeah, and the top three through Sukata, Mangana, and Shiriashi showing early signs of danger every time they're receiving the ball, as Capital likes to recycle back through the back line. Jeremy Opong giving chase. Ando getting away just in time.
Yeah, really good pressure by Opong there on the goalkeeper, and I'm sure the goalkeeper was breathing a little bit heavy at that point. You see Jeremy Opong with his pace coming at you at full speed.
We like to think that we always have it under control, don't we?
Yeah, well, you know.
Quality hold up from Baumgarten on the backside. Leatherman coming really short to receive the ball here. As we can see, common theme through the season with Ballard, pushing the wingbacks really high up and letting their six come in and receive the ball. As it comes through Kingston and Baumgarten, quality play into Robles. Referee elects to give the free kick in a very dangerous position here.
Yeah, I actually I think that this is something that Ballard is quite good at in terms of set pieces. It'll be nice to see a good hard shot. Often you'll see people trying to go up and over the wall, fooling very few people when that happens, especially if you're the goalie. But I'd rather see a hard shot, make the goalie spill it, and see if you can't come in there and nail it. That's
Ando electing for a 5-man wall. Slightly split with one off to the side, likely so he can get a little bit of a vantage point. Oftentimes goalkeepers will set a wall and they can't see the ball. Kingston elects to go. The wall does its job. Leatherman out to Kingston. Double teamed. Quality feed is always through Kingston. Quality defending, but he gives the ball away on the 6. Ball comes to top and it's just wide.
And that was a great shot opportunity, but he did not see that he had a teammate that was in a better position right off the penalty spot for tucking that ball in. But still, great instincts to try to turn that one and shoot.
That was Damien Alvarez trying with the swivel. Couldn't quite connect. Capital electing to go long. Alvarez with some cleanup work. Kiner with the long throw in to Cisco Mañana. Again, Ballard FC player as of last year. Couldn't quite find his feet in the Ballard team, but having some recent success inside of this Capital FC team, being that lone number 9.
Well, sometimes when you're playing for a team that's got as much talent as Ballard has now and had last year, it's tough to see the field.
Yep. Zane Baumgarten in an advanced position. Leatherman taking over that role. As you can see, the fluidity throughout the midfield and the back line and forward of Ballard. Everybody comfortable in each position. As the ball gets cycled through over here to Muller. Back line electing to hold. Ball comes outside to Shiriashi, who elects to come inside. Quality switch of play. Can't quite get there for Tsukada. Ballard goal kick.
Yeah, so far I'd have to say that Capital FC is winning the battle of the midfield. It's going to be critical for Ballard to, if they are going to try to build the play through the midfield, to win those battles. And so far today, you have to say that Capital FC is doing a better job.
9 minutes into this game. If you're just joining us, Capital with an early goal about 30 seconds into the game, and we'll come back to that this moment as Muller, as he has been a couple times this game already, going down the back line attacking Onandera. Leo Burnley calmly with some cleanup, but a giveaway here from Robles. Off the crossbar, out to the backside. Zane Baumgarten going to get to the ball first. Elects to go long. Couple slips. Referee seeing nothing in it. Maybe slightly unfortunate for Opong there, as he felt like he might have had a chance to that. Ball goes out of play, and we restart through a throw-in.
Those are the kinds of mistakes you cannot afford to make. I mean, you're giving the ball away at, 20 yards in from the goal and giving a guy an opportunity to shoot and hit the crossbar. That's not what you need.
Imagine captain Lars Halloran likely having a couple words with his back line, telling everybody to get back into shape and reset mentally. Bailey Leatherman with cleanup work as he usually does. Maestro Robles playing out wide here, but very quality interception as the ball comes back outside to Shiriashi. Beats Leatherman. Onandera and Bernie standing him up. 2 on the backside, 2 across the top. Onandera doing some good work defensively. Charlie Gaffney putting some defensive efforts here and trying to give away a foul in quite a dangerous area.
Yeah, this is the area that I think on the field is the most dangerous, because you force the center backs to play facing the defense facing their goal, and you can loft the ball between the 18 and the penalty spot, and the goalkeeper really has to be careful if they're going to come out of the net.
Sun being a factor here for everybody involved. Halloran being probably the primary anti-beneficiary of the Sun. Quality service into a dangerous area. Lars Halloran able to hold his ground and pick that ball up. Electing to slow things down a little bit here as Ballard trying to gain some control. 11 minutes into this game.
Yeah, see, I'm not seeing any runs by midfielders to look for the ball. So they're just sort of, it's very static on the part of Ballard, and then they're doing the long Route 1 soccer.
Picked up well by Charlie Gaffney. Always a dangerous player. Wide to Kingston, isolated in his probably favorite spot on the field. Gaffney played underneath, early service, but easily picked up by Keefe. I think we may have had an offside flag raised as well. Capital will be taking their time. Obviously an early lead in a very important game for them in this point in the season, looking to get into that second place spot and hold it against Old Town. Early on, Shiriashi looking like a danger, really wanting to attack Onandera. Some quick feet, early shot. Awkward save for Hellren, second save for Hellren. And he cleans up the pieces with a headed back pass from Leatherman. Quality work there from Hellren.
Absolutely. Those are two really good saves. Point blank, and that's got to be the third or fourth shot for Capital FC, and we haven't seen, other than that one shot that went past the far post, we haven't seen anything that's causing Zach Ando to make any saves.
Yeah, Lars Hellren definitely the busier of the two goalkeepers early on in this match. As Kingston is put onto the treadmill with some good defensive efforts, but Ballard winning that throw, and looks like the ball was out of play before it came off of Kingston. Robles with another giveaway in a dangerous area. 3 Capital players against the back line of Ballard. Mangana elects to hold the play. Long switch here. Onandera doing just enough, allowing Ballard to reset further. What's the issue going on in midfield right now? You mentioned a couple times, we're not getting the cohesiveness between the three we usually see. Mm-hmm. Do we see something that's different? Or is it the efforts of Capital FC really putting some quality pressure?
Well, first of all, I'm very impressed with Capital FC's poise. I mean, they're like that last sequence where, you had a player who had the ball. He could have tried to push it up, but then he waited for support from the opposite side midfield. He dashed it off. That allowed Capital FC to really then come into the offensive half and the offensive third. We're not seeing that for Ballard right now. And I think Robles is having a bit of a nightmare so far, and so he has to settle down and be more of a force in terms of connecting from the back line to the forwards.
Kingston and Baumgarten connecting. Again, a no-nonsense clearance from the back line, Capital FC.
Let's go, Ballard! I say let's go, you say Ballard! Let's go! Let's go! I can't hear you! Let's go! Oh, yeah!
Davies getting himself involved in play here. Alvarez picking the ball up, coming back to Hellren, who will look to reset. We really see the early shape starting with essentially 4 across the top, really not giving Ballard any options to play out of the back. Do you think that's causing, from a tactical standpoint, one of the issues that Ballard's trying to overcome right now?
I think it is, and I think it forces Ballard to play the long ball, which is normally not a problem when you have Kozanowski up front, who's 6'4", but you don't get the sense that Jeremy Opong or any of the other forwards are capable of winning that ball, that long ball in the air, and so it's coming right back down their throat.
Common figure of Shiriashi causing problems in the end line, picked up through Leatherman. Lars eventually the one to send it long, and as we just mentioned a minute ago, there's Opong unable to really hold up the play, but falls kindly to Cameron Martin, sending Gaffney down the line into some space. Really doing well to come back and track through there.
Yeah, nicely defended by Tsukada there. I think the other thing we're not seeing much of is movement. I don't see a lot of movement, a lot of runs to a space to give your teammate a place to play the ball. And if they're static like that, then Capital FC is just doing what they need to do. They're dominating.
Foul in the midfield on Davies, giving Capital another moment to regain possession. Captain Francisco Anton electing to go long here with a very important goal in their last game, obviously allowing for some momentum in the tail end of this season. Robles hounded here, forced to go all the way back to his center back, Leo Burnley. Really good work there from Castillo with the hard defensive efforts. Alvarez in space, carrying quite far and losing possession just on top of the 18-yard box. Trio of Ballard midfielders doing very well to clean that ball up, as we have Kingston again in his favorite dangerous position down the end line. Early service, but first piece of involvement here for Zach Andon, quite easy.
Yeah.
Always such a beneficial piece to a team when a goalkeeper's really confident with his play. As a cheeky little nutmeg there. Far side. Awkward backspinning ball. Peter Kingston doing some work all the way back at left back. Alvarez with a slight hesitation, but a fortunate deflection.
I think that's a good description of how Ballard is playing all over the pitch. A slight hesitation. They're just not being intentional. They're not forcing the play. They're being reactive, and that's not going to get it done. So it really raises the question in terms of the coach and what kind of substitutions that may be coming on to light some fire under these guys and getting them playing more the way that we're used to seeing them play.
Two new additions to the Ballard FC squad for today. Eric Lagos, part of the Yale men's soccer team, joining us as a forward, as well as a returning Ballard player, Declan McGlynn, from his time with Sneaky Fox, reaching all the way to the semifinal. What an experience he must have had. Hopefully coming back to Ballard FC with a lot of confidence from that experience.
Well, he's a very gifted player, and obviously he scored a lot of goals last year. So I would not be surprised to see him come off the bench fairly early in this match to see if he can't get some activity going in the attacking mid.
Long switch of play here from Shiriashi. Early service in quite a dangerous area, but no one really there to attack except Mangano's slightly over his head.
Yeah, and again, the defender was in the wrong position. He was not goal side and ball side. He was behind the player, giving the Capital FC a player the opportunity to head it home. So again, they're defensively they're just not being as sharp as they normally are.
Robles and Leatherman really doing everything they can to find pockets of space. Forced to go back through Hellren. Leo Burney looking forward, but similar theme to the game. A lot of quality pressure, not a whole lot of options or runs off the ball. And we continue to recycle through the back line. Robles with the pocket of space, able to turn and get his head up. Onandera here, isolated against Mueller. Mueller doing very well to pick the ball up. Wants to win a foul for his team. Referee's having none of it. Ballard quick restart here through Onandera. Alvarez. Pong with a dangerous giveaway, really isolating Leo Burnley here. Santana, dangerous feet. Leo Burnley doing very well just to contain the pressure and allow the time. Santana not quite finished here. Ball service across. Cleared out on the backside. Castillo recycles through Kiner.
Now in that case, Alvarez was exactly where he needed to be, and you know, headed away a dangerous crossing opportunity for Ballard in that case.
Picked up. Ooh. Flashes across goal. Lars Hellerin looked comfortable. Up here, looked a little closer than it might have been. But again, Capital FC really taking advantage of these turnovers in dangerous positions of the field, and at the very least getting a couple attacks on goal and some quality chances.
You're not going to get the ball to Opong by hitting it long, in my opinion. That's a guy that you want to feed into space, let him use his pace to get behind the last line of defense. And asking him to be a target player at his height with a guy behind him that's, you know, several inches taller is very tough.
Ballard build again through Robles and Burnley. Alvarez. Back to Robles. Into Onandera. Sloppy giveaway, but kind bounce here to Martins. Into Bailey Leatherman. Picked up in space, Jeremy Opong in his favored outside wing position. Early service. Onandera easily dealt with. Referee saw nothing wrong with that tackle.
Yeah, and quite frankly, they should have, because his cleats were up and he hit him kind of between, just below the knee. I mean, if this had been a replay, that might have been a red card.
Cisco Mangana clearly in a little bit of pain here. Player who started to see some field time with Ballard last year, but was unfortunate in a clash where he ended up with a little bit of whiplash and a concussion, and just couldn't get back out of that, understandably. And you know, as a friend of mine, I hope he's okay right now.
Well, and obviously you don't think, and I doubt that any player would go in deliberately with their cleats up for that. But you know, being a competitive athlete, trying to do whatever they can to get access to the ball, sometimes that happens. And one thing I've been noticing here while we have this break in play is we're starting to see Peter Kingston come back into the midfield to try to get the ball. That isn't necessarily what we want to see, because again, Kingston and Opong are players that you want to feed through to the outside. Now Kingston's capable of taking the ball and you know, using moves and speed to get a cross off. But I'm sure that, you know, the coach is going to be talking about that at halftime.
Thankfully, it looks like Cisco Mangana going to be okay, as we're looking as a drop ball restart here.
One player on Ballard that we have not heard hardly at all was Cameron Martin.
Come back to that in a moment. As Cameron Martin, Charlie Gaffney on the end of that. Continue your thought, Jim. Sorry about that.
Well, and you know, as an attacking midfielder, you need that player to be, you know, coming, showing for the ball, turning and distributing, and we're not seeing that. So right now, Ballard is just a little bit discombobulated.
Favorable position here for Kingston. immediately double teamed as he has been all game, but able to squeeze the ball through to Cameron Martin, who is in an advanced position at the moment. Kingston off on his left foot, early service. Only a pong there and lost his footing. Leatherman with a quality pickup. Cameron Martin slightly wide, able to keep the ball in play through Kingston. Difficult ball in to Robles and a slightly awkward dipping shot, but Zach Ando doing well and distributing early here through Moeller. Onandera with some quality defending on Shiriashi as we're starting to see maybe a little momentum shift. Ballard finding some feet in the final third.
Well, that's what they need. They need to be attacking and winning balls. But you have to say that, so far in the first half, it's Capital FC that's been the more aggressive, successful team at winning battles one-on-one.
As we see here, 2 giveaways, and Castillo being the beneficiary of that engagement, winning a throw-in for his team deep in Ballard's final third. Sellout match again tonight, consistent here at Pagliacci Pitch, and we have a new section to our stadium up on the side with the Bush Keepers getting themselves their own banner. So we like to see the community development. Looks like they've cleared out a little bit more space over there. Jim, what do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe the master gardeners have been at work, and they've opened up some sight lines for the folks that don't want to pay and are happy to sit out there on lawn chairs or on the ground.
I'll tell you what, there's lots of ways to watch this game, and whether you're live with us here or you're at the match, it's a great experience.
Well, I wonder whether with the Bush Keepers, whether they could be, compensated for trying to chase the balls that disappear into the bush. Because I'll tell you what, that's no fun.
If they claim to be the keepers of the bush, they have to be doing some work back there. Zane Baumgarten with a very flat service. Gaffney and Kingston connecting, coming in field here. Quality switch of play to Onandera, isolated, now double teamed through Gaffney. Can't find a pong quite there, and Capital come out unscathed.
And it's a half a tick late. That pass was a half a tick late. You just have to be a little sharper, a little crisper, a little quicker. You'd have to say pace of play, which is one of the things that as a coach you talk to your folks about. Clearly in Capital FC's advantage right now.
Long switch into Gaffney, slight straight touch, hounded quite well from Mueller, who you've got to say has been a key staple to this back line and initiating some of these counterattacks. Very eager to get forward immediately after winning the ball.
Yeah, he's been very impressive out there in the left back for Capital FC.
Gotta say, one thing I've been noticing is every time the ball is picked up in a wide position, whether it might be a Gaffney or in a pong in this situation, players are immediately double teamed. They're giving very little time to get ahead of steam and get running at the back line, which I think is definitely a game plan on Capital FC's side, knowing how good Ballard are in those final third areas towards the end line.
Well, and I think it also is a particularly effective tactical strategy given the fact that Ballard doesn't have a target player, so they have to depend on quality service. If you double team, you're basically eliminating the possibility of a quick service into the box.
Mueller electing to go down and grab the ball, but is actually charged with a handball and then asks for a moment. In doing so, some might argue stopping a quick counterattack through Gaffney and a pong.
Yeah, well, clearly he reached out with his hand to stop a pong from being able to serve the ball. And that should be a card. Sorry, it's a handball, but should be a card.
Second controversial moment tonight with our center referee here. I'm sure there will be more as we're set up in a dangerous position here. Some of the center backs, the bigger players in the team, allowed to get forward Robles standing over the ball in a quite deep position, set up on the 18-yard box. Low flighted service, well dealt with through Mueller and Shiriashi, but can't quite hold it down. Gaffney looks like he's brought down. We have another dangerous set piece here. Looking to take early, another block from Mueller, who then receives the yellow card.
Yeah.
Has to say that's justified.
And frankly, I think he got the yellow card for the foul, not for the delay in play. Of course, we don't know because we don't have access to hearing what the ref is actually calling. But I think that was well deserved.
This ball in a much more dangerous location, you have to say, from a goalkeeper's perspective, having to now at least think about the possibility of a shot with a two-man wall, it looks like, and on setting up. And Danny Robles definitely very capable in this position in a rather low set line, right about on the PK line for the Capitals back line.
I'm a little surprised that Capital defenders are a couple of yards packed past the wall.
Robles elects to go low, not quite what he's looking for. Reserved back in, back post. Leo Burnley trying to get something out of it. Lofts one back in. Scrap in the midfield. Zane Baumgarten doing well to keep the ball alive and ends up over the end line. Ball comes to nothing. Capital goal kick.
Yeah, it was, and again, you know, soccer's a weird game because there are times where the ball is bouncing around in the box, and if the bounces go your way, it ends up at your foot and you can drive it into the net. So far, you have to say Ballard hasn't had any bounces that have been going their way in these first 34 minutes of the match.
Mangana back in the game here, winning that initial goal kick. Glad to see he's okay. Halloran calmly playing out through Alvarez.
See that? He has no alternatives right there. There's nobody open, so he has to go long.
Pong doing his best and winning that header, but Captain Anton with a head of steam, really coming in hard, you have to say.
Well, you have to say that the Capital FC back four are very physical and very aggressive, and they are pushing the attacking center mids and forwards around.
Yeah, and it looks like Danny Robles gives up his duties as set-piece master as Bailey Leatherman steps up with the wand of a right foot instead of a left. Lofted service into the back post area should be easy for a goalkeeper, as is Andon doing quite well, and just takes the sting out of the attack here and slows the game back down as we have about 10 minutes left in the half.
So I have a question for you as a goalkeeper, and I was a goalkeeper. When did goalkeepers start losing their ability to stay on their feet after they make a save and they just go to the ground? What is that about?
We'll get back to that question here in a moment, as slightly awkwardly dealt by with Baumgarten. You know, as the game progresses in new ways to waste time and slow the game down, goalkeepers have definitely been in tune with those different ways of the dark side, I like to say.
Well, so when I played, we had the 4-step rule. So it wasn't this 6 seconds, which is really 15 because nobody calls it.
It's all subjective.
That's right.
No. Burnley with a clip ball over the top. Mueller doing well. Protect the space in behind. Well, the game has changed quite a bit over the years, and you know, Ballard definitely at the forefront of some of that change, and new tactics, new formations, expectations of how players should be playing. Goalkeepers probably changing quite a bit the most, with the expectation of really being involved with the playing of the game and the field. As we see the ball come back to Lars Halloran, about 20 yards outside of his goal, really making sure that we stay connected. Long service into a similar area, and on elects to stay on his feet this time.
Well, he didn't go down to the ground, but he thought about it. You could tell.
About it. As Capital looking just to take the sting out of this half, as coming and approaching halftime. Still at a 1-0 scoreline again for those of you that maybe joined us a little late and missed some early action. About 30 seconds into the game, Capital with a quick goal. Lars Hellerin with a fingertip save off the post and essentially a tap in. Santana into Shiriashi, looking to get a shot off, can't quite do so. Onandare picking up through Gaffney. Pong can't quite just keep a hold of that. Robles electing for the calmer route. Alvarez and Baumgarten elected to make a switch here. Alvarez now at the left back position, Baumgarten into center back. Do you see that being a tactical switch? I'd imagine so, but what's the primary focus there?
Well, I'm not entirely sure that it was deliberate, but you know, soccer's a game where, you know, sometimes you find a forward back playing defense and vice versa. But yeah, I mean, I think clearly the one thing that I am also noticing is that Ballard is losing the ball often when they're trying to dribble more than once or twice. And that's a challenge because, especially since, as you pointed out, Capital FC is doing such a great job of double teaming. But they are doing a really good job all over the pitch defensively, and you have to hand it to their forwards and attacking center mids because they're really cutting off the options for the back line of Ballard to do anything productive with the ball.
As Bailey Latherman, the first player to get a ball over into the shrub end, into the bush keeper's section. Kind of doing some good hold-up play, but can't quite keep it in bounds. Approaching the 40-minute mark here, Ballard looking to equalize in a very important match as Burnley elects to go long and easily picked up again by Endo, excuse me.
You know, obviously Ballard would love to get an equalizer before this halftime whistle, but you know, so far it hasn't happened. Now, depending on where the sun is at the start of the second half, it's going to be even more difficult for Endo and the Capital FC defense to see the ball in the second half.
As we're talking through that, Endo just with a questionable decision electing to place the ball on the ground and force service out, but again it comes to nothing. Ballard unable to capitalize, which got to say has been Capital's strongest point this game. Lars Halloran taking a little bit of a late hit there. Tsukada pleading his innocence. Lars not really one to embellish quite too much. I can say that from personal experience, but referee gives a foul here and we play on. Davies with a quality header in the midfield. Ghana in an awkward amount of space. Flag stays down, isolated with Burnley, gets his shot off just wide. But again, making something out of nothing. You feel, you know, a service coming from Halloran, a ball won in the midfield from Davies, an awkward pass up front, and just a little bit sleeping in the back line. Capital really able to just create chances just out of thin air when you wouldn't really think there's a whole lot there.
Well, and clearly this is a match between two of the top teams in the league, as you can see. You know, obviously Ballard isn't playing with all of their guns, but nonetheless, Capital FC has been very impressive this first half.
Leatherman in a more advanced position, finding Gaffney, squares up with Mueller. Able to rotate in behind and hounded on by Shiriashi, but able to win the throw in again through Ballard. Leatherman with some clever feet gets himself to the byline. Muller again puts his body on the line and felt that one, and we have a Ballard corner kick, as we might need to take a moment here for Muller.
I believe that's the first corner of the game at either end of the pitch.
I believe you're right. Looking like this trainer's on the field now. And while we have this moment to wait for a trainer, definitely want to bring back up the topic of Alex Mejia signing with Real Club Deportivo España, first division professional league in Honduras. You know, he definitely has Honduran connections through his family. Got to say, for a player like that, he's been working hard for a long time. It's definitely good to see the continuation of his career at the professional level, obviously coming through not only just Ballard FC soccer, but playing at Roosevelt High School and SPU. You know, he's a homegrown product. Good to see coming abroad.
Absolutely, and you know, it is a testament to his effort, but it's also a testament to the quality of soccer in the Pacific Northwest.
For sure.
And you know, it's not just SPU and Seattle U and UW, but it's also Ballard FC, and all the club teams and the premier teams in the area. You have to say that, you know, this is a soccer hotbed, and we're producing a lot of very good players. We wish him, of course, all the luck. You think it might be hot and humid down there?
I think it might be a little hot and humid there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I moved here from New York, where right now it'd be like 90 degrees and 90% humidity.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Muller up and well. Slight miscommunication there through the front line. I don't think they'll be complaining too much with about 30 seconds of regulation time here. Maybe a minute or two of added stoppage, which we'll have communication on in a moment. Being reported about 3 minutes of stoppage time on the field as we're approaching the 45-minute mark. A little bit of time left here for Ballard to go into halftime with a much different mentality than they would 1-0 down. Committing quite a few numbers here.
Minimum of 3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes.
Papong. Dragged back there, and Ballard electing to go quick through Kingston. Early service. Gaffney in the back post. Can't quite find the ball with his feet. Picked up by Burnley in a right wing position. Awkward one. Kingston picks up. Top of the box. Just wide. I believe that was Alvarez up top, electing to be that bigger presence in the box, and that's his second opportunity of this game. Puts it wide right as he did the first time.
Well, you know that sick feeling that Ando had when Bernie did a wonderful job of getting that ball across, and he's like, oh no, don't go in. So he's lucky, and they just missed a golden opportunity there. That would have made a huge difference in how Ballard would approach the second half.
Immediately the crowd responding with chants of Ballard FC, trying to get this team juiced up a little bit.
Yeah, and that skill that Bernie demonstrated, that almost turning clearance against the end line, was brilliant.
Did very well to keep that ball in play and created arguably Ballard's best chance of the half. Capital exercising the dark arts to suck away time here within the next 90 seconds or so. Now as we go into halftime here, you're Jason Farrell, 1-0 down, maybe not the best half performance you've had all season. What's the message to the team? How are we approaching this?
Well, I'd be talking about a bunch of things. I'd be talking about being aggressive to the ball, into tackles, dragging the ball, meaning dribbling the ball less and passing it more quickly, and more importantly, showing to give your teammates an opportunity to have a passing lane. You know, they're just a half step slow kind of all over the pitch. So that's what I would be talking about. And obviously the midfield play is the critical part.
Taka doing some shielding work, winning a corner kick, being hounded by Shiriashi. A couple seconds left here. Electing to go quick. Leo Burnley with a mistake. Just wide. Golden opportunity for Shiriashi just at the death of the half here. He'll want that one back, and Leo Burnley.
Yeah, that's just unexplainable. It really is. So, yeah, kind of a disastrous half for the back line. Quite frankly, I think Ballard is lucky to be down 1-0. You know, and Lars Hellerin has played some really good keeper back there and made some important saves. Two, like within 2 seconds of each other, that really kept the score 1-0.
When we go into halftime here, 1-0 within 30 seconds of the half here. Ballard's got some work to do here starting the second half, and we'll be interested to see what decisions are made by head coach Jason Farrell. And we'll be back with you here in a moment after a little bit of a commercial break.
Welcome to the Georgian Dragons, Seattle's established home for footy since 1995 and proud broadcast sponsor of Ballard Football Club. Home to classic English pub food, 24 draft beers, a large whisky selection and craft cocktails. With a beer garden, heated patio and cosy pub, the George has everything for good times with friends and family. And weekly events such as pub trivia and karaoke. Open 11 a.m. till 2 a.m. daily and even earlier for all your favourite football clubs, national teams and cup tournaments. When you're at the Georgian Dragon, you're family, and here at the George we say welcome home. Go Ballard FC and up the bridges.
Cheers.
I'm Andy Love.
I'm Tucker Schonberg.
We own Salmon Bay PT, and it's 2 clinics in Ballard, and we kind of see everybody.
The community has been really supportive of us. Even just Ballard FC brings a lot of small businesses together, and it's nice to meet other small businesses. They're supportive of each other.
Getting to know the owners of the other businesses in our neighborhoods has been really nice. You know, you kind of in it together. Being part of Ballard FC for me, you go there and it's like, oh, there we're a patient. Oh, there's a parent. There's a friend from the gym. And you're all there sort of celebrating this team, and the energy's really great and small enough that you get to sit and chat with these people and go to the beer garden, but it's big enough that it's like super exciting. The energy's really big, and I love that. And I think it came along at the perfect time. Like, people were so ready to do something and get back together.
It was an easy decision.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Of course.
this is perfect. We've been thinking about this, and it kind of aligns with our values and what we're trying to do, and it's still local. So
Yep.
the impact of the community is great. Because I think it's somewhere where we can all put our differences aside and just watch soccer and be happy about our team going to the championships.
My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Flow Fitness. We have 2 locations, one in South Lake Union, the other in Fremont. The Ballard community is amazing. I've been a resident of Ballard for 15 years now. The favorite thing about Ballard is just being able to go out on the weekends and just walk everywhere, whether it be the farmer's market on Sunday, grab some lunch during the day, going to the parks, or grabbing a beer at night. Like, there's so many things to do. You can walk everywhere, which is amazing. And you just see people on the street and feel the energy. When I heard about Ballard FC launching, I immediately reached out. I wanted to support. Both my kids play soccer. Also just wanted to support that community as much as possible. We see a lot of athletes come in our place, and we see a lot of injuries and rehabbing injuries, and really believe that training in the gym can help on-field performance as well as decrease injuries off the field. People really feel that sense of pride when they say they're from Ballard, and that really is resounded, especially being part of this Ballard FC group, where we've really seen that community really come together and rally in such a short amount of time.
My name is Jen Muse. I'm the Executive Director at the Ballard Food Bank. Our mission is to bring food and hope to our neighbors because there can be enough for everyone. And what we've done is really create a space where everyone is welcome and they can really feel that. We built our new home to look like a space where anyone would want to come in. We create a sense of belonging and respect as folks come in to shop at our markets, come to our Kindness Cafe, or access our community resource hub. And then you have our volunteers and our staff, and they're greeting you and they're welcoming you into the space, and they're talking to you, they get to know you. They all build relationship with one another. Being a part of that community, especially through the pandemic, has been life-changing for them. We've really seen the space come to life as now people can come in and access all those services, more like a one-stop shop. The idea that a kid wouldn't have the food they need, to me, that means that we have to do better as a community, and we have to find ways to give people more access to food and critical services they need. And so it's the volunteers, the people that come through our doors each day that I think really inspire me. We couldn't do what we do without partnerships, and how we partner with others in the community, you know, whether it's the restaurants or the breweries, all of those things make it better and make it stronger. The Ballard Food Bank has been a strong space that can kind of help hold people up together and really provide that sense of belonging that we all need.
My name is Patrick. I'm the artist known as Dosby. We create artwork for a lot of the Ballard community. I think art is an opportunity for the artists, the art, and the community to connect and tell a story or tell the history of a place, and then have a conversation about it. Art, music, sports are all vehicles for kids and adults to connect to our ability to create and be creative. I think now more than ever, like, we just have so many ways that we can connect to people through a creative means, and art is that for me, and I feel like for the Ballard community. As you can see, during the COVID, small businesses allowed artists to create murals on their boards, Noble Painting providing supplies, and that was like a really unique way for the artists to connect with the Ballard community. We're all neighbors and we're all family members united to help each other. I'm really excited to see soccer on a competitive level again. The fan base is amazing. The beauty of what Ballard FC is, it captures that time of these certain players and in their development. The moment they step out and they're wearing the Dosby kit, it's gonna just bring back memories of, one, me playing soccer, two, like being part of a club, and three, just full circle, that the art is bridging me back to my past experience and reliving a great soccer moment.
Welcome back to Pagliacci Pitch. Cole Weaver here with, again, local legend Jim Harvey. Rough half for Ballard FC. Early dagger from former Ballard FC player Cisco Magana, and not quite how we wanted to see this game pan out with the first 45. Obviously, we were talking just before the half, what sort of conversations are they having in the locker room? What sort of changes might they need to make, or is it a mentality issue? Jim, kind of where do we stand right now, and what do we want to see here in the second half?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. I think it's going to be both. I mean, I think part of it is mentality, pace of play. They're a half step slow to the ball. They're a half step slow to attack one-on-ones, and more importantly, they're not showing for the ball, especially the midfielders, to help their back line. So then that forces the back line to hit the long ball, the route one ball, and if you don't have target players up top, you're going to lose that every time. And so we saw that in the first half with Jeremy Opong, who's a really good player, but he's not a target player, and he's giving up 5-6 inches to his defender, and he's winning every single header. So I think there's that. The question is, are they going to do something in terms of either formational change or some substitutions? And I wouldn't be surprised to see Declan McGlynn come off the bench early to try to bolster the offense. I think the other thing is there's almost no possession for Ballard. So by having somebody up there like McGlynn who can dribble through three people and hold the ball, that gives the rest of the team an opportunity to come up and put pressure.
Yeah, and I like to say when watching Ballard FC play, it's very purposeful possession most of the time, and that every pass has a purpose to it, and there's an intention of where they're trying to cycle the ball through. We haven't quite seen that here today, and give credit where credit is due to Capital with their defensive efforts, double teaming on the wings and really being tenacious and making sure that Ballard doesn't have the time in the midfield, which is where they usually thrive. They'll look to keep that going in the second half here, and if they can do so, we might see a very difficult half from the attacking perspective from a Ballard and a very successful defensive half from a Capital perspective.
Right. I mean, one of the challenges, as we pointed out earlier, is the sun is still going to be shining straight into the eyes of all the defense and the goalkeeper. So that gives an opportunity for Ballard to take advantage of that. You may see the goalkeeper spill something or a defender spill something, but they did a brilliant job all over the pitch defensively. As you pointed out, they did a great job of double teaming to prevent that cross. But, since we don't have a legitimate tall target player in there, then the only way that you can score is to get that cross off, and by double teaming the wing, you're cutting that option off, and it's a negative touch back to a midfield.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're about 90 seconds away from kickoff here, so stay tuned. We'll be back with you shortly. But definitely the mettle of this Ballard FC team, currently sitting #1 in the league, definitely going to be tested here in the next 45. So we'll be back with you here shortly at Pagliacci Pitch. Stay tuned. Definitely don't want to miss this half. Welcome back to Pagliacci Pitch. Second half about to kick off and get underway here. Sun setting on this beautiful Friday afternoon, early evening. If you're just joining us now, Ballard 1-0 against Capital FC with an early goal in the first half from Cisco Mañana. So we'll see what they can get done here in the next 45. Knowing that a win here will secure a playoff position, so a lot to play for on the line from a Ballard perspective and from a Capital perspective. Currently sitting in second and looking to solidify that position a little bit further as we're underway here. Both teams coming back out in the second half as they started, so no substitutions as of yet.
Well, actually, Ballard has brought in...
Oh, excuse me, we have had a substitution.
Eric Lagos, who seems to be a fairly tall, target-looking player for Jeremy Opung. So I think that's a tactical adjustment based on...
Great ball in here through Peter Kingston. Goalkeeper Ando doing very well to come off his line early, and
yeah, really
good first start here from Ballard as we kick off in the second half.
That's a great aggressive save on his part.
Early service just over the top from Charlie Gaffney, from Bailey Leatherman. And you're correct in pointing out we have had a switch up at front. Jeremy Opong coming out for Eric Lagos, a new addition just announced this week. Communicating early with Cameron Martin, looking like he'll be up alongside him.
Well, we have the Ivy League factor going on with Leo Burney from Penn and now Lagos from Yale.
Definitely a lot of outside influence being thrown into this very heavily talented local produced team. Early possession for Ballard here through Leo Burnley, electing to keep it through Onandera. Leatherin swings out wide to Lagos, who elects to get inside and, through Alvarez. Lagos almost on the end of that.
Yeah,
Endo having an early start.
And he got his head on it and put it in a reasonable place, just and couldn't get very much on the header because it was a kind of a soft bouncing ball.
Mangania doing well through Santana, down the wide channels and just wide again of Halloran's goal kick. Early confidence shown from the Ballard players, which is definitely what you want to see at the beginning of a half. To not cave in and have the confidence to play the ball around, move it with some pace.
Yeah, and this is more like the kind of play that they like to do, which is building it up rather than going over the top.
Outside back to outside back. Onandera now finding Kingston. Isolated again, double teamed.
And that also looks like Kingston has switched from the left side to the right side of the pitch, which I think is an interesting adjustment as well.
And on the Capital side, excuse us for the. We'll be back there in a moment as Shiriaishi picks up the ball in a dangerous position, attacks Leo Burnley, finding some space. Halloran with another calm save, and chance goes begging there. Shiriaishi doing some really dangerous work every time he picks up the ball.
Yeah, he's a very dangerous player. He's been very effective all night.
Gaffney down the channel to Robles. Early cutback, no one quite there. Onandera in a lot of space. Crowd wants him to shoot, connects well. Kingston fires it across, nobody there. And again, Ballard FC with some chances going wandering. But we like to see it early in the half with some really quality possession and some chances on goal.
And I love that kind of a cross by Kingston, because that is, as you know, as a goalkeeper, it's the most dangerous. All somebody has to do is just stick a foot in it. It's got so much pace. You don't have to hit it hard. You just need to deflect it in. unfortunately, Ballard didn't have anybody at the penalty spot moving forward to take advantage of that cross.
And it looks like it's just an update on the substitutions on Capital side. Muller making way for number 20, Brian Gutierrez, who steps in likely for an injury, as Muller was doing quite well in that half, but did take a couple hard hits. Lagos wasn't too happy about that challenge there. Leatherman coming in hard, and Santana doing well to keep possession. And commentator's curse, first time I point that one out today. And Ballard reset through Bernie and Halloran. Being casually pressed here from Santana. Halloran elects to go long, and Davies doing quite well in the midfield, as he has done all game. Number 17, Tsukada doing what he has done this half as well, this game, being a nuisance in possession. Davies to Santana. Out to Keefe. Through captain Francisco Anton. Back to Keefe. Takata doing well down to the end line. Kiner with a service.
Yeah, you have to say that Capital FC has picked up where they left off in the first half of this last couple of minutes. They really have strung together some passes and created a couple of dangerous opportunities.
Center backs working together to build out possession here from the back. Wanandera in a good pocket of space. Finds Lagos in a wider role. Leatherman. Kingston. Switches the ball out here to Alvarez. Into Robles. Sees the run of Wanandera, elects to go short through Leatherman. Back to Robles. Finding a split, but cleaned up well and kept in play here. Long ball for a willing Mangana. Finding Castillo in behind. Lars Hellern with a great save again, and actually wins a goal kick after his save coming off of, I believe, Shiriishi on the backside.
Yeah, but again, the quality of that pass was just awesome to Shiriishi. He had a 15-yard run to crack that ball, and Hellerin, knowing that he had to come out and make himself big, did exactly that and won the goal kick.
Baumgart with an early service and a holy flicked on ball there from Lagos. Able to handle it enough. Robles with an interception. Alvarez and Gaffney doing some good work, but Takata doing even better. Alvarez now picked up and ended up, I believe, dribbling out of bounds there. And no touch from the defending Capital player. And we've got some substitutes coming in now. As we predicted early on in the half, Declan McGlynn making his Ballard debut for the year, coming back from his time with Sneaky Fox, coming off Cameron Martin. Crowd recognizing who's back on the field, and in a time of need where Ballard need a goal, you got to say Declan McGlynn, a good candidate to get it.
Yeah, so McGlynn is one of the best players I've seen in the last few years at possession and creating dangerous opportunities all over the pitch. He's very gifted and has a very powerful shot. So not surprised, and it hasn't been Cameron Martin's best day today.
It's been a difficult role as a midfielder against a team like Capital that's so willing to put pressure on the ball. You don't really ever have any much time.
Well, one adjustment I think I've seen in terms of Capital FC's defensive posture is they're not pressing as high up the pitch as they were in the first half. And so as a consequence, it's giving Ballard's back line and midfielders more space and more opportunity to build the ball up through midfield.
As we see now, both center halves essentially on the halfway line, and both outside backs really pressed up. Capital in quite a defensive unit with all 11 players behind the ball. Baumgarten with a very cheap giveaway. Now we have a dangerous counterattack on here. 19 Santana alone on goal. Lars Halloran doing just enough, but over the top.
That was a spectacular volley. I mean, to have the control to get it over the top but not have it go over the crossbar, that was an amazing goal. And now Ballard really has a hole to dig themselves out of.
Yutaro Tsukada with fantastic control off of a fantastic save, you got to say, by Lars Halloran, doing everything he can, protecting his back line, coming out, but an unfortunate deflection and save. You got to say, a little bit of remnants there of a goal I'm thinking of from Neuer way back in the day at Schalke.
Right.
Half-field volley, some resemblance there.
Right.
2-0, 56 minutes played. Ballard with a task on their hand to get back in this game.
You know, the other part of it is that both of these goals were scored off of rebounds of one form or another. The first one was off the post, came right to the player, and he was able to put it in. Same thing here. Did a great job of chesting the ball, bringing it down, and then volleying it.
Declan McGlynn with his first couple touches here. Able to maintain possession through Leatherman. Eric Lagos picking up the ball in a dangerous area. Kingston can't quite do anything with it as it awkwardly bounces off his knee. Results to nothing but a Capital goal kick. Theme of the night so far, getting into dangerous areas, unable to produce, and just some unlucky bounces along the way. Sometimes that's just how football is.
It is, but you have to say that Capital FC deserves to be up in this game. They are playing really well.
Endo electing to go long, as I'd imagine he will for the majority of this half. And we've heard it so much, though, 2-0 down. It's a dangerous place to be in from a team's perspective. Still plenty of time left in this game, and things can change rather quickly. Ballard going to do all in their power here to find a way to a goal and reduce the deficit to a half. The question is, who might that player be? Slight collision here from Lagos. Very classy touch from Santana out to a wide channel here. Twinkle toes. Tsukada again, but it ends up fouling Robles on the way out. But you got to say credit for the defensive effort and losing the ball, and players worked hard today. Ballard electing to go short to keep possession here and keep the momentum and build from the back as they have all season. Bernie electing to go long, and Lagos with a little bit of hit stick in the back and ends up winning a free kick for his team. You gotta say the early difference of having a post up forward or a presence like Lagos, we felt the difference early on, and we'll get back to that point as Declan McGlynn picks up the ball in a dangerous area. Robles fires one. Quality block from Davies. McGlynn straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, easy in the end.
Well, McGlynn's presence on the pitch is very interesting because he is sticky with the ball. The ball he just has it, and and it looks like he's going to lose it, and then he keeps it, and then he distributes it, and suddenly Ballard has a dangerous opportunity, just like that one that we just saw.
Cisco doing well to had the ball on there, but didn't lead to anything as Ballard built again. You know, we always talk as a team about lines of confrontation and where we'll be establishing pressure. And as you can see, the further we get into this game, we'll get back to that in a minute, as McGlynn down the sideline wins his team another corner. But the line of confrontation has slowly been dropping and dropping further for Capital. Do you see that being a more difficult piece for Ballard, or do you see that being an advantageous piece for Capital?
Actually, I think it's a much more advantageous for Ballard, because they were just not able to do anything in the first pitch. But you cannot play that high press, as you say, line of restraint or whatever, all game long, because that's just too much running for the midfielders and the forwards. So I'm not surprised that they've brought that line back.
Talk about the substitutions in a minute as McGlynn plays an early service. Burnley just can't quite get his head there. Ballard does win the throw-in off of it, but another chance goes beckoning. And we saw Alex Zimmerman come into the game here. Interestingly enough, Jason Farrell electing to take out center back Zane Baumgard. So slight formation change likely, as Alex Zimmerman is not an out-and-out center back. But Ballard definitely needed to find a way back into this game. Jason Farrell definitely identifying that. Here he is on the ball.
So you think they're going to be playing three at the back?
I imagine so. We'll have to see as
well. That'll definitely give him more folks in the midfield.
Both of our center backs electing to stay forward at the moment, definitely needing a central presence. Robles coming short to receive the ball. Out to McGlynn. Lagos doing what he can. Alvarez again on the end of it. Ends up winning a corner kick, and another opportunity here for the big man to get ahead on it.
Right, and there's a perfect example of how dangerous McGlynn is. He was able to, hold possession and then distribute the ball up, and they got a corner out of it, and almost a great scoring opportunity.
Ball comes short here into Gaffney. Slight deflection. Castillo able to get the initial service out. Capital winning a goal kick, and we've got a couple substitutions now coming in here, and we'll forward on the information as we see it. Looks like Cisco Nganya and also number 14 Shiraishi, who's definitely been a thorn in the side of Ballard the majority of this game, coming in for Capital here. Number 9 Tyjo James, as well as number 24 Chris Swider, looks like replacing Cisco Ngana up top, immediately making his presence known. First foul of the game, immediately carded. Not a whole lot of argument about that one there, knowing he was quite late.
Yeah, it wasn't subtle.
It's not subtle. Some coaches would argue that's what you need to do as a forward. Put yourself about. Let them know you're not playing around.
Yeah, well, that's important. And as I coached at the National Goalkeeper Camp, I also said to goalkeepers, the first time you get into a physical confrontation, make sure the other team knows about it.
Crafty. Backheel scoop there from Gaffney. McGlynn electing to keep possession through Leatherman. We're cycling back around through Bernie. Alex Zimmerman in quite an interesting role here, almost as a utility player. Crafty left footer finds the other crafty left footer, Robles, out wide to Kingston, who elects to go with his left foot. Service here cleared out. McGlynn the one there to pick it up. Ballard start again through Leatherman and Alvarez. Early clip service into Lagos.
Yeah, good job by Ando to come out, and he saw the danger and nipped it in the bud.
as he's done multiple times this game already. And interesting enough here, electing to go short, but immediately down into the channels for Alvarez to deal with. Does so well until it's booted out to not the shed end, but into the crowd.
I was going to say, I think that made it all the way to the street.
That might be gone. Well, at least that one's accessible as opposed to the
instead of the bush.
The bush.
The bush keepers.
Does look like Alex Zimmerman is operating in a inverted center back role, likely in the sake of possession-oriented build-up. Leo Burnley, definitely the sole center back at the moment. As Ballard look to find a way back into this game with about 25 minutes remaining. Kingston. Alvarez. Can't quite find the central ball in. Leatherman doing well to clean up, keeping this attack alive. Can't quite find Lagos. Line of confrontation slowly dropping deeper and deeper as Ballard able to regain possession in the middle and final thirds throughout the remaining of this half, it looks like.
It's interesting watching McGlynn. He is doing what we were not seeing in the first half is on the part of the three forwards. They weren't exchanging. They weren't running diagonal balls or anything. And that's a good sign.
Leatherman asking quite a bit of Lagos here. Puts himself about, and it's on the unfortunate side of the referee's call this time.
And I would agree with Eric Lagos on that one. I mean, they were, it was shoulder-to-shoulder charge, and one guy goes down. It doesn't mean it's a foul. And I don't think that one rose to that level, in my opinion.
Much to the displeasure of the crowd as well. Seems to agree with you here, Jim.
Well, it is a home crowd, so, I would expect no matter what, right?
Endo electing to go long. Bernie with a commanding header. Also commanding header from Castillo. Zimmerman under some pressure here. Forces Halloran into a clearance that probably should have happened a couple seconds earlier. Some indecisive decision making there. Leatherman asking the same of Halloran and elects to go to the sideline this time. No nonsense.
We also had no choice. I mean, he had cut off the Capital FC had cut off his right foot, so he had to get across the pitch.
Halloran very involved in the possession build out here, electing to slow things down this time instead of a one-touch clearance. Obas clipped the ball forward, again asking Lagos to do some work. Very well from Keefe in that moment. Keefe again finding his outside partner. Gaffney doing well to win possession. Hard challenge into Onodera, who's in a more central location. With a distance shot, scrambling goalkeeper ends up watching it go wide for a goal kick, but it seemed like he was maybe a little bit worried about that shot as it came off of Onodera's foot.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's hard to hit the ball from 30 yards and beat a goalkeeper that's tall and that quick. I mean, it's, if it were in the upper corner, you might have a chance, but down low, I don't think there's much of a chance.
Glenn giving chase here. Ball picked up by Robles into space for McGlynn. Early service behind the defenders. And on doing well just to clean up once again, and more precious seconds tick off the clock here as it looks like Capital with an impending substitution.
Let's get it, Ballard! Comeback start with you! Let's get loud!
Coming off for Capital, number 19, Santana. Coming on for Capital FC here, as we see the numbers, number 16, Jack Green.
Entering in number 16, Jack Green.
Ball picked up from Castillo. Cycled out to Kiner.
You have to say that Capital FC has been poised all evening, not rushing. When they win possession, they don't just give it right back.
Tyjo James with a head of steam, doing a little bit too much with the ball and not as much defensively, as Robles picks the ball up and finds Lagos in a dangerous marker space ahead of him. Gaffney elects not to go to him, goes alone, and double team efforts.
It's a great steal by Kingston.
Robles. Onandera down to the end line for McGlynn. Onto the left foot. Finds Robles up top. Block inside. It looked like it was from Davies, forcing the ball over top of the crossbar. Ballard with the corner kick, but Capital scrambling just a little bit to keep that ball in a safe location and happy to concede a corner in that situation.
Well, again, you see McGlynn's skill and the quality of his pass was just world class right there.
McGlynn in front of the beer garden and the bridge keepers. Deep service to the back post. Goal! Leo Bernie! From the newest addition to the Ballard FC squad for this year, Declan McGlynn, 2-1. 29 minutes left to play. Leo Burnley getting the crowd in their feet. We've got a game.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, look at the quality of that ball. It was maybe 2 feet underneath the crossbar at the far post. The only person that could have gotten it is Leo Burney, and he did, and buried it. Just a fabulous combination. 1-2 bang.
Take a moment here. Water break for the Ballard FC players. It looks like one of the Capital players was inflicted on that towering header from Leo Burney. You got to say, this is where Ballard's at their most dangerous, and they get a little bit of momentum. The team feels good. They've hit the back of the net. They've gotten out of that slight slump they've been experiencing over the last 70 so minutes. You got to say, over the next 18 minutes or so, there's a lot to play for here, and Ballard in a prime position to tie this game and hopefully walk away with maybe a 3-2 win.
Well, first of all, Declan McGlynn has made all the difference, and the tactical adjustment on the part of the coach to add the other midfielder has made a huge difference. And, you know, as we were mentioning before, Capital FC has done a great job defending all night, but you can't keep that high pressure on the whole time. And so now, you know, as they get tired, now they're in 72nd minute, it's a little bit harder to make that run, a little bit harder to get fired up about, you know, guarding your man. And with Declan McGlynn up there, you know, he's going to find an open player.
Very elusive front line now with Gaffney, McGlynn, and Kingston.
And you have to say Eric Lagos has made a big difference as well, because now they have a legitimate target player. I mean, we've seen a couple of prototypical target player moves, like the flick-on header to the far side. You know, that's the kind of stuff you couldn't do if you weren't tall enough to do it.
Getting back underway here, about 16 minutes of regulation time. Tyjo James doing some good hold-up play on the far side. Leo Burnley doing some quality defensive work after his offensive presence was felt. But unable to win that challenge there. And we're seeing a little bit of long ball from Capital, which we haven't really seen all game. Been more the profile of Ballard up until this point as Ballard builds from the back, looking like very much a 3-back with Leatherman facilitating midfield connection. Here's Zimmerman. Gaffney. Goal scorer Bernie. Into Leatherman. Can't quite connect with Robles there. Isolated Leo Bernie.
Again, you know, these long clearances by Capital FC shows you how kind of, not desperate, but they're way less poised with the pressure that Ballard FC is now putting
Peter
on.
Kingston with a head of steam coming inside off his left foot. Quality block there. Again from Davies.
Yeah, but look at him. He takes the shot and then he comes back and guards. I mean, you just can't teach that. That's just outstanding play on his part.
Captain Francisco Anton was the individual down after that goal. Back on the field now. Definitely need his presence to maintain this 2-1 lead for the next 15 minutes or so. Lagos with some pressure deep into the Capital FC half. Goal kick.
I have to say, I have to commend the center in this match. He's been letting him play, not calling a lot of ticky-tack fouls, called the ones that have to be called, handed out a couple of cards. He's doing a good job.
I agree. Awkward tumble there for Chris Swider. Ends up being given the foul. Staying over at Castillo. And his compatriot, Tsukada. Ballard with a deep line on their 18. Back post service, one down in the box, referee having none of it. Davies picks up. Working with Castillo. Can't quite keep possession, elects for a long ball, and Ballard FC throw. A couple substitutions now coming in for Ballard. One of those being Kojo Dadzi coming in for Charlie Gaffney. Cameron Urando, the other individual coming in, an SPU freshman, replacing the midfield holding Bailey Leatherman. Two new additions to this Ballard squad, hoping to ignite the fire just a little bit further and continue the good work the rest of the substitutions have done so far. Head of steam here. Tyjo James isolated with Alvarez. Alexa dropped the ball off. Through Takada, ends up getting fouled by the newest substitution here, Kojo Dadzi. In a very central location, very difficult to make a decision how this service is played in, whether it's a back post straight ball or a curved service into the near post here. Very difficult for the player on top of the ball, or third option, shot on goal. Elects for the third option, Lars Helwin.
Quite honestly, I think that was the best possibility, because the idea that you're going to get an angle from dead center in the midfield to one post is really hard, especially with Ballard playing at the 18.
So, Jim, we've seen a lot of substitutions. We've seen a mentality change. We've seen a change in formation as well. Is this everything we need to see to complete a comeback here? What else needs to be added to the fire?
Well, I think they just need to continue to possess the ball and create chances. You know, they're clearly a little bit more poised this half. They're going to the ball more. And obviously everybody's a little bit more tired, and you know, with that you get opportunities.
The back line of Capital working very hard this game, and only one substitution in the left back position. Definitely maybe some tired legs coming into the picture now. It's a very fresh front line, you have to say, for Ballard FC. 3 of the 4, I should say 1 of the 4 still on the field in terms of a starter for Ballard. The other 3 very fresh. Onandera losing possession here to a very dangerous Tyjo James, who has definitely have some pace on the wide side, as Alvarez does very good to subdue that danger and finds a very good outlet pass here through Robles. Continues the switch of play here to Dadzi. Isolated against his man. Takes him inside. Continues to go inside. Picked up by Robles. Goal! Deflection, but they don't care. 2-2. 10 minutes left on the clock. Ballard FC fans, bridge keepers, bush keepers alike are on their feet.
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, a fabulous shot, first time with his left foot, had the ball, and you know, you can't fault the goalkeeper, because as you know, when the ball gets deflected, you're reacting to the first direction. You can't make that adjustment. So, but a beautiful counterattack, and you have to say that you know, the run up the left side and then cutting it in made all the difference.
Energy definitely changing inside of this stadium. You feel the pressure, and I'm sure Capital feels it as well. Unable to keep the clean sheet coming into the second half, unable to maintain the possession lead. As Ballard doing everything in their power now in the remaining 9 minutes in regulation, as Declan McGlynn picks up the ball in a dangerous area. Slight twinkle toes, shot on goal. Well blocked from Davies, picks up the ball again, somehow stays to his feet. Onandera in his favored central midfield position, definitely looking a little bit more comfortable than he was at a right back position. Dadzi with some good feet, again finding service. Onandera doing very good to maintain possession. The ball bounces around a little bit here, and Dadzi picks up, shot! Another block by Davies, who has been in front of absolutely everything this half. Davies again with a clearance. Nicely done on the far side to win the throw-in. Nobody ahead of him, though. Likes to slow things down.
Well, you know, there's a couple players that I just want to point out in terms of just hustle. Eric Lagos has been going all over the pitch at full speed and creating opportunities, creating deflections, and just challenging for balls. And that has a spillover effect to everybody else on your team. When you see somebody working that hard, you know, you want to work that hard.
Coming back to that in a moment here as Dadzi finds himself in the end line. A couple deflections, able to find their way out here. Chris Swider on the end line. A little bit of activity here, a little bit of afters. Leo Burnley always up for a scrap. Keep in mind, forward Chris Swider on a yellow card at the moment.
Well,
has to be careful.
Honestly, he pushed off. That's enough to get him thrown out.
A couple of reserves wanting to get involved. Christian Eggman definitely want to make sure his center back partner, Leo Burney, is protected. Interesting to see what the referees and how they handle this. A lot of finger pointing here. Doesn't seem like we're going to get any red cards. Referee really just trying to calm the situation.
I think the referee knows that if he gives a card, he's got to give it to both, and that throws one of the players off.
Getting a yellow card for Burney. And just Burney.
Wow. I completely disagree with that call. I'm sorry. I mean, he pushed off.
Very interesting.
be issued a yellow card. Ballard FC player number 4, Leo Bird.
Much higher line of confrontation now as the momentum in the game has shifted and Capital has the need to revert to some of their earlier game tactics. Got to say, probably the right move as they were not able to soak up all the pressure from Ballard, and now they're needing to win the ball in the midfield as the ball comes back up here to Lagos. McGlynn alone in the box, Peter Kingston joining him. Finds his way to the end line. Very nicely done from the captain to concede a corner.
But again, you know, even though Eric Lagos didn't get a cross across, he earned a corner. And you're now giving the ball to, you know, McGlynn, who we've already seen serves the ball really well.
Interesting fact about McGlynn, natural right-footed player. Quality ambidextrous player, though, left-footed taking this corner as we have some subs coming in from the Capital side, leaving the pitch. Number 32, Kiner, coming into the field. Number 13, Yuki Onishi. In-swinger service from McGlynn. Kept alive through Zimmerman and Robles. Out to Kingston on the near side. Inside to Dadzi, who has a little bit of time and space. Back outside. So Bernie, who slight miscommunication with Kingston. Dangerous situation here. Onendere isolated. James on his left side. Lots of options. Elects to go wide to Tyjo James. Cannot hold his run, and an offsides, massive missed opportunity from a Capital perspective, and a big sigh of relief for Ballard as they were in some muddy waters.
Well, they were basically 1-on-3 with the goalie. That's not a good spot, and honestly, I think the Capital FC player made the mistake of going to the left instead of the right. The right-hand side was way wide open.
Kojo Dadzi definitely causing problems as he's coming in half and wins another corner here. Back on the side where Declan McGlynn had some quality service, and here comes Leo Bernie on the back post.
So here's my thought. If I'm McGlynn, since they know that they're going to do the back post, I do the short post. See if you can't, catch somebody at the 6 on the front post.
He elects to go for similar service, but Endo anticipating it. Elects to go early. Awkward one here for Onendere. Quality first touch, quality second touch. Lars Halloran, calmness personified. Very nicely done from the 3 in the back line, able to maintain possession and kill off that counterattack opportunity. Kingston cutting inside on his left foot. Into Dadzi. Onto his right foot. Great save. Robles! Off the line!
Oh, boy.
Just over the top.
What a shame, because it looked like they had a goal all ready to go. Wouldn't that be something? They still have a couple of minutes plus stoppage time, so.
Cameron Irondo unable to convert on his debut. Still time left on the clock, but a golden opportunity gone missing on both ends of the field. Got to say, both teams are really going for it here. And who's going to slip first? Or who's going to capitalize first? Referee halting play for a free kick here, going quickly, likely a handball there, but as we play short, Onendere picking the ball up. Early service into Lagos. Keeper off his line. Did just enough.
Yeah, Zach Ando has just played a really good game in goal. He's been particularly good at assessing and then coming out with aggression to scoop up these dangerous plays.
Davies, who has been a defensive midfielder really everywhere in the field today, cleaning up once again. Kingston getting us started early here. Bernie with a long switch field to play to Dadzi, who has definitely been a danger man, cutting in on his favored right foot inside. Alvarez winning back possession. Can't quite connect there with McGlynn, or excuse me, with Zimmerman. But both players doing very good to get back to their home positions. And it sounds like we'll have about 6 minutes of added additional stoppage time. Plenty of time for either team here
There will be a minimum of 6
to walk away with the 3 points that they definitely came here for.
minutes.
You can tell the home crowd is excited about the 6 minutes because they feel that Ballard has really come back and could take this match.
Bad giveaway there from Onandera, comes to nothing. Capitals coach is really just asking to play a little bit more simple. Recycled all the way through Hellren. Capital electing not to press as they have been throughout the period of the game. Maybe a feature of wanting to maintain a 2-2 result or some tired legs, likely both. Zimmerman. Long switch field of play. McGlynn in some space. Great first touch. Brings it down. Fires it high and wide.
Well, there you get a sense of how gifted he is. Brought the ball down and struck it with one step. That's remarkable. It's too bad he couldn't put it on net, but still, beautiful ball.
Playing with authority. Ando definitely taking his time here, electing to go long. Rondo with definitely some height in the midfield wins that ball. Doing very good with those long legs to win possession. Switch play here. McGlynn cycles it on through to Kingston. Multiple runners in the box, isolated, can't quite get the double team off. McGlynn top of the box. Onto his right foot, finds inside to Robles. Shiftiness, McGlynn on the half turn. Can't quite keep his footing. Foul right on top of the box in an extremely dangerous position, just inside of the D, but not quite inside of the penalty box. Very interesting to see how not only Ando sets up his wall here, but what Ballard FC will do with this free kick in a very difficult position.
I think what you're looking for right here is you're going to see McGlynn take this ball. Unless they're going to try to flip it, because the wall is going to be basically almost at the 6. And you can't get the ball up and down from that angle, I don't think.
Very difficult. McGlynn walking away here. Currently standing over it is Kingston and Robles.
So you think it's going to be a, move it to the side to get around the wall, get a better angle, and shoot to the opposite post, but I don't know.
Dadzi in an interesting position just on the corner of the D here. Both players stepping away, looking like either could take this shot. 4-man wall just so Ando can see the ball more so than anything. Kingston steps up, shot, scores!
And he does exactly what I didn't think.
93rd minute! Peter Kingston finds the corner of the net. 3-2, Ballard complete the comeback. Here at Pagliacci pitch, fans are on their feet. 3-2. Absolutely ridiculous half.
Unbelievable. Well, first of all, the skill level of Kingston to put that ball over the top of that wall and into the far corner. Obviously, the goalie thought there's no way he can do that. And honestly, the player on that far part of the wall was not tall. And that's part of the reason why Kingston said, okay, I think I can do this.
Goalkeeper Andon elected to go for a 4-man wall, primarily for the reason of being able to actually see the ball. So he has an opportunity to react to it, but in doing so doesn't give him enough protection on that near post. Ballard winning the ball immediately through Robles. Cheeky, slight ball roll there. 4 players committed to this attack here. Goal scorer Peter Kingston isolated 1v1 with a head of steam on his left foot. Can't quite mirror it, but actually with a deflection, and we have another corner kick.
Well, stunning comeback. When you're talking about it, this has all happened in the last 25 minutes, which is remarkable. But you bring McGlynn in, and then the level of spark and energy in the second half for Ballard FC has been remarkable.
You got to say, the game's not quite over here. Capital leaving 3 up top. Ballard electing for the dark arts play of wasting some time in the corner. Hard to see with our vantage point. Fans up on tables. Don't take your eyes off this game, my friends. Lagos doing some work in the corner. McGlynn trying with a cheeky back heel, but possession lost. Dadsy doing well to pick up and just cycle it back into the corner. Lots of controversy. Everybody on the pitch believing that's a Ballard throw, referee not agreeing. Capital players not quite caring. We're approaching the last 30 seconds of stoppage time here. Maybe an additional 30 added on top of that, because it's a minimum of 6 with some celebrations inside of that stoppage time. Long throw in, Dadsy just doing everything he can to push it on. McGlynn doing some great defensive work and winning an extremely valuable free kick here. Captain Anton not having any of it. Definitely some words being said. McGlynn, master of the dark arts. Lots of pushing and shoving. Arms around the neck. Referee's got his hands full here.
Yeah, you have to say that McGlynn knew what he was doing when he dribbled the ball away from the thing, like, oh, I didn't know it was that. And then, Capital FC players citing their disagreement with that, as you say, dark art.
Would not be surprised if we're seeing a couple cards being thrown out here.
Well, first, Declan McGlynn's already gotten one. The referee just showed Declan McGlynn a yellow card. So.
Understandably so, for some intentional time wasting, but there's a lot of afters there. You'd imagine Eric Lagos asking the question, fairly so, where are the rest of the cards at?
Right.
And that's the game. Ballard FC complete the comeback, all done in the second half. Goals from Bernie, goals from Kingston. You have to say, what a result here. Ballard FC officially clinching their playoff berth for 2023. Huge game. Lars Halloran getting an applaud from his teammates. Jim, I'm a little speechless.
Well, look, I mean, there's the couple of observations. First of all, the substitution. When McGlynn came in the game, that definitely made a difference. In addition, the changing of the tactical formation to add that other midfielder really made a difference in terms of possession and the effectiveness with which Ballard was able to move the ball in the second half of the second half versus the first 2/3 of the game.
I have to say, thinking of a potential man of the match, my head is leaning towards Declan McGlynn. Goal and an assist coming in and really changing this game. Hard to point it towards anybody else.
I would agree, although I have to say, there have been some other quiet heroes, and I was very impressed with Eric Lagos, who played a really good, solid game at target striker, and his hustle. Obviously, Kingston would be the other one. I mean, Kingston with that winning goal was just amazing.
Kingston always in the conversation, played a full 90 here. Very quality performance as always. Difficult to contain him. They tried their very best throughout the game. Double teamed most of the time anytime he received the ball in the end line. As the Ballard players go over here towards the bridge keepers and the beer garden, show their applause to another sold out crowd here at Pagliacci Pitch. I'm Cole Weaver, speaking as well for Jim Harvey. Thank you for joining us. Final score, Ballard 3, Capital 2. Welcome to the playoffs.
At the Town and Country autograph table near the stadium entrance to get autographs from the Ballard FC players. And prior to getting those autographs from Ballard FC, we ask that you please take your trash with you as you leave today's match.